Hi, this is Audrey again, and I'm here to talk about microjournaling and an exercise called the 3x3's that I actually came up with when I used to teach a DBT group for about 4 years, and a lot of the people in my group loved this exercise. So, what is microjournaling? It's not the same as journaling. Journaling is usually more when you kind of have a flow of consciousness and you have a notebook or on your computer and you just write whatever you want to talk about. Microjournaling is different. It's more similar to bullet journaling. I'll be a little. I'll try to describe this as best I can. You really shouldn't be doing it. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes, 10 tops, but really 3 to 5 minutes. So usually I ask people to do it in the evening, just because in the evening is the best time for you to take stock of what you did that day. So what we're doing in microjournaling is focusing on the micro and not the macro. So micro aspects of daily life is more like the details, the weeds, the nitty gritty. It's not the big stuff. So we're not talking about the global pandemic. We're talking about things that are going on in our immediate surroundings in life. So we're also really trying to focus on the positive. The whole point of microjournaling is to take daily affirmations of good stuff going on. So you want to focus on the positive things and asking yourself what went right about your day rather than what went wrong. So the 3x3's is my form of microjournaling that I came up with, and I'm sure this already existed in some other form, is really writing down 9 things, because 3 times 3 is 9, it turns out. So exercise of identifying and writing down 3 things you're grateful for, 3 accomplishments, and 3 things that you either want to try, change, or a small goal. So it can be one of each, something you want to try, something you want to change, or a small goal, or 3 of one of those things. So gratitude, which you hear a lot about these days, is really just identifying what you're grateful for and giving thanks for that and just not taking it for granted. It's very easy to take things for granted. And I think now a lot of us are stepping back and thinking, I took for granted that I could just go to the gym or drive to the bar or the coffee shop. Now I can't. So part of it is being grateful for the things that you have instead of focusing on what you don't have. You can be grateful for big things or little things, but in microjournaling, you're really trying to focus on the little things. So instead of being grateful for your health or your family, you're more grateful for like a song you heard on the radio or a meal that you enjoyed. So that's a shift. It's okay to write down that you're grateful for your health, but that's not really the point. The point is more to focus on the little things that happened that day that you're grateful for. So when I've done this in the past, and I've done it for many, many months at a time and years, and I'm just starting it back up again now, I would say things like, I'm grateful for my kombucha because I drink a lot of kombucha. So it's little stuff, it's not the big stuff. Accomplishments, same thing. But the accomplishments that we're talking about are really just when you do the things that you know you need to get done. So, we all need to complete tasks. And so in this particular thing, and can I move my head here? Oh, maybe I can. I'm going to go over here. In microjournaling, your accomplishments are not running a marathon. It's like I paid the bill or I completed the task, which for me is like this is a task that I'm doing right now, quite frankly. Or when I do lectures or PowerPoints, or when I do anything that we have to do for work or for school. So if you complete your homework, you completed a task. That's the kind of accomplishments we're talking about. We're not talking about getting a degree or getting a new job. Those are accomplishments, but those are big accomplishments that are more like milestones in life. And we're talking about little accomplishments in this exercise. And something you want to try, change, or a small goal. So the question you should ask yourself in this last one is more like, what do you want to do tomorrow that you didn't do today? So I keep saying since this pandemic started that I want to do some yoga. I have a yoga mat right in front of me. I have yet to do it. So for me, one of my goals would be like, let's do some yoga or let's do some stretching at the very least. What is something you want to try out? So a lot of people that have said, oh, I don't, I'd love to do X, Y, and Z, but I don't have time for it. You don't have that excuse anymore. So if you want to learn a language or an instrument, or you want to write some poetry or start your novel. You know, even though that sounds like big stuff, even just making a little bit of movement towards it, like tomorrow, I'm going to give myself an hour to be creative. That would be a small goal. And then, like, what could you tweak? Like, what is happening right now in your quarantine that you would like to change? Is there anything that you could shift a little bit? I mean, I talked to someone yesterday who was like, I keep waking up at noon and going, I'm like, well, that's something you could tweak. You could try to wake up at 10. So there's always things that we can change, especially when we're all getting used to a new routine and things just feel weird. So that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Some little things you want to try change, or just a small goal, not big goals. It's not goals like I want to, go get my PhD. It's little stuff that we're talking about. So here's an example. I'm going to try to get my face out of the way, at least for part of it. So I made this one up. For my gratitude, I said, I made it through my second week of quarantine. And it's a beautiful day out and it's not too cold. I'm going to go on a walk later. I'm grateful for the sunlight and the view I have from my office. I have a nice tree out here. I see a couple people's houses, but it's not a bad view. It could be much worse. My accomplishments today, I did pay some bills on Venmo, and I worked on Canvas to get ready for teaching online next week. And I organized the yard a bit so my kids could play outside better. I made a sandbox out of a bucket, essentially. Lots of fun. And as far as the try, change, small goal, I said I want to do some yoga or stretch more. That's still a goal of mine. I made a list of old friends that I want to call, so I want to do that every day. I'd like to make time to call an old friend and reconnect. And I'd like to play more music with my kids because they love music and I love music, and I think that would be fun. So that took me a couple minutes to write that. So that's what microjournaling is. It's literally just writing it down. And I think the end of the day is a better time to do it because, you can take stock of what happened that day. So, like before you go to bed, kind of a thing. Okay, so, and lastly, I wanted to give you guys some resources online. So there's plenty of digital journaling apps. One's called Day One Journal. One's called Memento, Mood Notes, Journey, Dailyo, Grid Daily, 5 Minute Journal, and Penzu. These I haven't used all of these. I've only probably heard about like 4 of them, but I'm sure they're all great. If you like to do stuff on your phone, I would just download one of these. I'm sure I'm sure most of them are free. Maybe some of them cost a little bit, and so you can do this on your phone. Or you can do it with pencil and paper, which is how I did it when I was teaching this class. And probably that's what I'm going to do while I'm teaching for the rest of this semester, because I've asked some of my students to do this, and I hope some of my clients will do it. So I'll do it too, and we can all see if it helps. The whole point of it is to focus more on the positive, to focus more on the small things in life and not the big things that we don't have control over, more on the little things that we do have control over. And to, try and feel connected to ourselves and our actions and just be more self-reflective. Microjournaling is a form of self-reflection that's not quite as time-consuming as when I've asked people in the past to journal. They kind of roll their eyes like, oh my God, no. So this is not the same thing. This is much easier, much quicker, and shouldn't take much time. So give it a try. Not for just like a week, for like a month. I think really try to do it for the duration of the pandemic and then look back at it when you're done. And that will be really interesting to see, because probably the stuff that you would write down now might be different than the things you would have written down, 6 months ago or a year ago when you had more freedom. So if you have any questions, ask. And